So I'm here today with Dr. Neve Corduff, and we're going to have a bit of a chat about the new age implants that have just come onto the market called the Motiva Implants. So thank you for taking the time today.
You're welcome.
Lovely. So tell us, tell our readers, what is it about these implants that makes them so new and so unique and something just, a bit above the rest, say?
I think with breast implants, it's been a long history, a long progression from where we came back in the late 60s when the first ones were invented. And everybody knows, reading and hearing the news, there's been lots of problems and issues. Most of them blown completely out of proportion, but they're far from perfect. And we're still far from perfect.
Yeah.
But now what we've got is the next generation where they've gone right back to the drawing board and they've looked at that we as surgeons and we as women have been complaining about and saying, I don't like this, I don't like that. So one of the big problems is capsular contraction, which is hardening around implants. It's a lot of scar tissue, and that's all it is. It's scar tissue. It wraps the implant up, but a lot of the time that scar tissue shrinks down, and so that you get this speed hump, or it deforms the breast and it looks horrible. It can be painful, it can be ugly, and that has been one of the big issues. So if we can prevent that, that's a big thing. The other problem has been with a lot of women that I see, and I relate to, being female and older, is we don't want to look like, big round implants at our age group. It looks like that we should be trading our wares on the corner. So we want to look as natural as possible, just to restore some shape, not to be out there. It's for us at home in our clothes, but we want to feel really comfortable.
A bit more feminine.
But so that's where the anatomical teardrop implants work well to a certain extent. But the problem was, and I've seen with a lot of my patients, is that they can turn.
Right.
So people who are very fit, very active, these implants work and look really good when they're sitting there, apart from the fact that they don't move, they're a bit rocky.
Yeah.
But they can flip or they can turn.
Yeah.
Especially very active people, runners, swimmers, triathletes.
And we're way more active than we used to be years ago
way
anyway.
More
so,
active. We're all trying to keep the pounds down and get those muscles going.
Yeah.
So that's a problem, is the turning of implants, where we still want the shape, but we don't want it to turn. The other issue is then when patients don't know what they've got in.
Yeah, right.
So we see patients 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the track, and you're going, okay, so what have you got in? I've got
implants.
I've got an implant. I don't know. I don't even know it's saline or silicone. So so they've addressed that issue with coming up with this tiny micro label that they can hit, that's implanted into the implant. It does no harm. It's completely innocuous, but you can detect it with a special transponder detector. You can see what the implant type is, which is great. So we can you don't have to constantly trying to chase up records and they can't even remember who did it or what hospital or whatever, which is great. You know, it's like as we get older.
Yeah, of course.
We start to forget a few things.
Oh, I can't remember what I had for breakfast, let alone what implants I had put in, 20 years ago or something.
Exactly. So a lot of things, and but the biggest thing has been for me as a physician is understanding the science behind it and the technology. So as everybody knows, it's smooth, it's textured, and all that has been developed trying to deal with this hardening of implants. But what they've done is gone right back into the laboratory, looked at what has been done in cardiac, vascular, urology. Everybody else puts foreign body devices in. And this new understanding, which started to become in the literature about 10 years ago, where cells recognise and act on actually the shape, the lie of the land, the topography of the tissues they sit on. So you get these cells, and it's on a foreign thing, but some things they like, some things they don't like. If they don't like it, they'll reproduce more and form more scar tissue. And also they send out these messages which relate to other cells which cause inflammation.
Right.
Now if we can get on top of that and keep the basic cells happy, so what they've done is worked out if you have these little tiny nanometer, like space age size bumps, a certain height, certain spacing, those cells will just sit there and they're happy. And they just say, oh yeah, I'm cool, I'm not going to do anything now. So you don't get that thickening, you don't get that inflammation, you don't get the scar tissue.
So does that help with the double bubble thing as well?
Double bubble is more of an anatomy problem.
So it's just going to happen if it's going to happen.
Usually, because what's the double bubble is where you've got a really strong memory in your skin and it's not going to stretch.
Okay.
And it takes time to stretch. So there's surgical tricks that we can do to try and deal with it.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest things we do try and deal.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is based on the patient's original anatomy, and it's trying to, you go, when you sort of pick, you know, who's going to be a little bit susceptible to it, you say, hey, I think you're at risk, so let's just keep everything a little bit smaller, go a little bit conservative, so if you do get
Avoid
a double bubble, it'll just be absolutely tiny.
So can we grab one and have a look at...
So one of the, going back to the issue about the implants turning. All right, and trying to get one. So if you imagine what they've done is there are physical characteristics of tissues, and this comes back to mechanics and physics, which starts to get a bit heavy.
Yeah, sure.
But what they've managed to do design is that the gel that will flow, but it won't collapse.
Right, okay.
Which is what we've always struggled with.
Yeah.
So we had sort of in the originals we had quite runny gels, but the trouble is that gel would disintegrate, but also it would collapse the implant, so it gets folds and wrinkles and visibility.
Okay.
You know, which everybody knows about. So that's one of the reasons that the anatomical shapes were developed.
Okay.
But what you've got with these ones is you've got a gel that actually flows into a natural shape.
Right.
But holds the shape.
Right.
So it doesn't collapse.
Right.
So which is great. So I've got you can have a round implant that can turn and turn and turn.
Yep.
You wouldn't know.
Okay.
Because it just flows into the natural shape.
Yep. Okay, got it.
Fabulous for those older women who want to look natural.
Yep.
Fabulous for...
And still want the upper pole.
And still want upper pole fullness.
Okay, right.
And for reconstruction.
Okay.
So that's beautiful. So if you see... So this is more the round one, and it bounces straight back up. So when it flows and drops, it still sticks together and holds its shape.
Got it.
And that's where they're very different.
Right.
In many ways.
I don't know what it is, they just feel different. Like I've felt lots of it, they just feel a little bit different. They feel a bit more, I don't know if it's the right thing to say, but natural. It just sort of feels a little bit different.
They're softer. So what they try to copy more of the characteristics of the breast itself.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And before these came out, like when was the last time a new implant came out to the market?
There's lots of new implants coming out, but this is the new technology.
Right.
This has been the first time for ages. Because quite rightly, it's the companies develop implants, but then they have to submit it through the regulatory authorities. And Australia, like America, like France, like the UK, have very strict regulatory bodies. And it costs the companies a fortune to put it through, and takes a lot of time because the regulation bodies are there to protect, us as women, consumers.
So we don't get the PIP thing happening again. And totally.
But mind you, but that's what it's there for. So it takes a long time, it takes a lot of money to get them through. So they have to be really sure this is really great.
All right, well, thank you so much. This is really exciting. So if you're looking at having a breast augmentation and you want to try out these new age implants, they've just been approved through the TGA. So if you want to know who does them in Australia, drop us an email at info@plasticsurgeryhub.com.au. And thank you so much for taking the time today.
My pleasure. Thank you.